Hi everybody, I apologize I'm not able to be there in person with you today, but I did want to take a moment to talk about the leader standard work that George came and trained us in accounting. When we went through the training, there were three sections that really stood out to us. First was the leader standard board, then the meeting behaviors, and meeting free zones. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about what our first impression was, and then actually how it's come out in reality. So if we start with the leaderboard, the first impression that a lot of us had was that this is just another thing to keep open all day and that we have to manage, like email and Teams. But in reality, what it's done is it's giving purpose to my day. I know exactly what I'm going to work on and what I can get accomplished that day. The other thing for a first impression was it kind of felt a little bit like micromanaging. In reality, what it's doing is being that detailed is actually making my day work for me, instead of working all day, realizing you've gotten nothing done. Another first impression was that this is just one more to-do list that we have to keep track of. But in reality, this leaderboard and having a task list is consolidating all of our sticky notes and random pieces of paper into one place. Also, the first impression was, well, I like having my paper to-do list. I like being able to cross things off. I get that satisfaction of knowing I finished it. In reality, we're using Excel for this, and there is a strike-through option, and I guess it's good enough. The last thing in reality is that this is a really great tool to use in our weekly check-ins with our managers. I'm using it with my team, and my manager's using it with me, and it's just a really nice way to see what people have on their task for the week and what capacity they have to take on new work. The other part of the leader standard work that we talked about in our training were the meeting behaviors, and we looked at all the meeting standards. The first impression was, wow, that is a lot of expectation for what's typically a 30-minute meeting in accounting, when in reality, not all the rules and standards have to be assigned, but we can set up some expectations around making sure every meeting has an agenda, that there's pre-reads if there are any, and that we have people in the meetings. The last part of the leader standard work that really stood out to us was the meeting free zones. Our first impression was, this is great, right? There's 2 free hours in my day. I can get so much done with that time. In reality, this is still a work in process. We need to be better at planning those 2 hours in our day and actually putting it on our leaderboard. Speaking of leaderboards, I did want to share one of mine and how we're taking the training and putting it into practice. One of the big things you can see here right away is that this is not your standard manufacturing or quality standard leaderboard. We are looking at just 1 week at a time. What we found in accounting is that our work is standardized, but not in the same way as other departments. So it's actually easier for us to kind of look at it 1 week at a time. And with that, this is what mine looks like. What I've done to kind of make this my own is I've added in a column on the right for my tasks and also a due date column. Since this is now my consolidated place where I go to put all my tasks, I want to put my due dates in there so I can keep track of things that are due current or things that are going to be due in the future. I've also color coded my tasks so you can see some are red and some are yellow. The red and yellow indicate the critical tasks that I need to ensure I focus on and finish. And then the last thing that I've done is I've added some tasks at the bottom of the day. Those are items that weren't originally on my task list or weren't originally in my leaderboard that I did get done that day. One is to kind of remind myself of what I did. Makes filling out our 15/5s a little easier when we can go back and be proud of the accomplishments we've done by looking to see what we actually did. A couple pros that I really like about this, I really like being able to see a week at a glance and be able to look and see what I'm doing and where I have time. A con is that it isn't as easy in Excel to move things around. So say I make my leaderboard on Friday afternoon, and then come next Wednesday I get scheduled for a meeting that wasn't originally on there. There's a little bit of working that, to move things around. However, I do think that burden of having to, spend a little bit of time keeping it updated is definitely outweighed by the benefit of being able to come in here and really feel like I've gotten things accomplished, and I can look and I can show my manager or my team what I got accomplished that day. One thing that you can see from looking at my leaderboard is that I don't have a lot of white space in there. That's something that I need to work on as well, that it's can sometimes be hard and feel like you have to fill up your whole day with tasks, but in reality we know things come up that are unplanned, and that it's important to also make sure that we're planning for the unplanned, so leaving in some white space as well.